Okay, we're at the launch of the Nikon D3s, and I'm talking to Nikki Needham, who's the product manager for the FX format cameras, to tell us about what the key features are of the D3s in comparison with the D3.
The principal one is the increase in ISO capability, so uprating it to 12,800 ISO, but now we have a high 3 setting, which goes up to 102,400 ISO.
So I'll just repeat that again.
Yeah, I'll just say that again. It's quite hard to get it all out in one go. It's 102,400 ISO.
In case people thought they misheard it the first time.
Yes.
102,000 ISO.
Yes, absolutely.
You could shoot pretty much in darkness with that, couldn't you?
You can shoot in situations that were completely unavailable to you with any previous camera, in almost total darkness. Yes. There's
also the addition of D-movie on this camera as well, isn't there?
There is, yes. It's our first FX camera to have D-movie functionality. It's 720p, 24 frames per second. And it has various upgrades since our previous cameras, like the D300s. And we've got things like flicker reduction, enabling you to remove or at least reduce the flicker effect that you get from artificial light.
So the camera design is pretty similar to the D3, isn't it? It looks pretty much the same, with a few small differences.
Yes, the body is essentially the same, the chassis is the same, but we've remodeled some of the buttons. So the info button here is new, the dedicated live view button here is new, and some of the buttons on the back, the multi-selector and the AF on button, have been remodeled based on customer feedback, suggesting that they'd like an improved feel, especially when using it in gloves. A lot of our professional photographers use these out in difficult environmental conditions and would like an improved feel while wearing gloves. And also the battery removal compartment here has a wider section to, again, enable it to be easier used with gloves.
You can also trigger the D-movie on the front as well, can't you, as well as just on
yes,
the back?
Previously D-movie was only available from the multi-selector, but now the preview button on the front can be used with the 4 fingers to start the movie, which is much more comfortable to start a movie, and you also get less camera shake because of it.
Come back to the movie mode for a moment. Can you tell us a little bit more about the specifications of the movie mode? It's 720p, is it 1280 by 720?
1280 by 720p movie mode, yes.
It's an AVI file?
It's an AVI file at 24 frames per second. It uses motion JPEG as the capture method. So essentially this camera is designed as a stills photographer's camera, but to give them access to movie functionality. So the reason that we've gone for functions such as, and formats such as motion JPEG, is to enable us to put features like the save selected frame grab feature, whereby you can film something as a movie, but then pull selected frames out of the movie and save them as a still image.
So you'll get a 1280 by 720 pixel still image?
Still image, exactly.
Which will give you about a 6:4 print if you wanted to.
Yes, exactly, which is perfectly good enough for social. It can be good enough for use in a newspaper, certainly, and the video files that you can pull out of it are certainly good enough for web, and well, much beyond, to be honest, in the hands of creative photographers. Even the D300s is being used to shoot TV adverts, to shoot music videos. There are even feature films being planned on them, so
really?
The extra capabilities of the D300s should give creative types a lot to work with.
And you've also got options for processing these video by using the AVI, I believe, colour adjustment, that sort of thing.
Yes, yes, we've got all of the still image functionality of picture control is available to you in the movie functionality, so you can make things monochrome or vivid, or all the other effects that you can put in picture control is still available to you.
So what else does the camera have that's different?
So new to this camera then we have image sensor cleaning, which we had in the D700, but in this version we have full 100% viewfinder coverage with an image sensor cleaning function.
Okay.
We have a quiet shutter mode, so that's available on the dial on the top,
right.
Enabling those that require quiet shutters.
Take it.
The queue, yes. Yeah. Quiet shutters, so wildlife photographers, those filming in social environments like theatres and what have you, that need to have quiet shutter. And with that you can select when the mirror returns using the shutter button.
Speaking of the 100% viewfinder, there's also a new crop option as well, isn't there?
There is, yes. Previously we had full FX, a DX crop, which automatically comes in with a DX lens, and 5x4. New to that we have a 1.2 crop. So that gives you a slight step in magnification and a slightly reduced file size. That again has come from user feedback from our professional photographers suggesting that they would like to have, well, exactly that, some extra magnification, and sometimes the file size is very big, so they'd like to be able to wire across smaller pictures. The buffer has been upgraded, so the D3 previously could be upgraded at a cost. That upgrade is now included as standard in the D3s, so that's roughly twice as big as the D3, so you can shoot for longer in a burst before the camera runs out of room. Yeah, so that's a significant upgrade.
I believe it's over 120 large JPEGs, isn't it? Seem to be
yes, you can fit, I think it's 124 large JPEGs in one burst.
So there's also raw processing on board, I believe.
Yes, there is. This is something that again has come from user feedback from our professional photographers, who've suggested that they'd like more capability to process raw images in the camera. So we've got an enhanced menu and plenty more options of processing that's available. Many more of the features that you'd expect to find in Capture NX2, for example. And gives you the ability to change things like white balance, vignette control, picture controls, and there's a whole list of things before processing the image, and it will then save a copy of the processed image.
So you've got the white balance, exposure compensation, picture controls, noise reduction, colour space, and vignette control on here. The interface for this is kind of similar to the D3000, D5000 interface, isn't it, in the way it works?
Yes, certainly.
Simple. And you've obviously got a visual representation of the changes that you're making on screen.
Yes, certainly. I mean, we want to make these things as simple as possible to the photographer in the field, and obviously they only have a small screen to work on, so we've put a lot of effort into making these things as easy to use as possible.
There isn't batch processing in here, is there?
There isn't, no. I mean, that's something that we can look to for the future perhaps, but certainly with this current version it saves your previous settings, so if you have a standard set of settings that you want to apply, you can jump through and it will remember the settings that you've used previously.
So once I've processed this in one shot, if I want to do that to other shots, it'll keep the same settings and it'll be much quicker to do the subsequent ones?
Exactly.
Right, okay. So I believe also there's a new HDMI port in here.
Yes, it's a new HDMI-C port, which is slightly smaller. That allows us to fit in the microphone port.
So you've got a mic input there.
That enables stereo sound to be recorded on the movie function.
Right, okay. And you've got USB in this one. And some improvements to the focusing, I believe.
Yes, it's not a small upgrade, this one. There's plenty more improvements in there. So there's increased acquisition speed on the focusing. There is increase in the AF lock-on. So previously there were 3 steps, now there are 5 steps plus off, so it gives much greater gradation. We've also got bracketing for delighting, so the bracketing button on the top can be set to bracket 5 stops on delighting.
So now to the million-dollar question, how much is this camera going to cost?
So the UK recommended retail price on this camera will be £4,199.99.
That's obviously body only.
That is for the body only, yeah, so lenses separately. And that will be available in the UK from early December.
Great, thanks very much.